Hello, listeners. I am Dr. Comfort Adeni, your course facilitator for EDM 313, the teaching profession in Nigeria. Today, EDM 313 is a compulsory course for all students offering education management. Today, we shall be considering the topic, ethics of teaching profession in Nigeria. The ethics of teaching profession in Nigeria. What do we mean by ethics? Ethics has to do with a way of doing things. They lay down rules and regulations for a group of people on how to, do things. That is the rules guiding a group of people. What a group of people have agreed as a right norms or the right ways of doing things can be referred to as ethics. Now, let's look at ethics in relation to what a professional body or an organization. Usually, members of professional body or organization are guided by some rules. These rules are provided to guide the reputation of the profession and to serve as a measuring yardstick or a way of measuring the accepted norms among the members. So these rules are referred to as what? As ethics. That is, all organization or professional body has some rules or ways of directing or guiding their members on the appropriate ways of behaving. So this is what we can call an ethics or a rule. Like the people usually say, where there are no rules, there is no sin. So an organization or professional body usually have some set of rules that must be followed by the members. So when you get to a particular community, there are ways that you have to behave for people to say, oh, you are well behaved. Or there are some ways that you behave and they say, oh, this one did not behave according to the moral rules. So this is what we can call ethics. Now let's just look at the objective of today's lesson. At the end of today's lesson or this particular lesson, you should be able to do some certain things. One, you should be able to define ethics and teachers' professional ethics. Two, enumerate 5 code of ethics of teaching profession in Nigeria. 3, state 5 objectives of teachers' code of conduct. Then 4, identify and discuss the professional obligations of teachers. So at the end of this lesson, you should be able to assess yourself based on that. Now let's define ethics. Ethics is related to set of moral rules, regulations, values, and ideal ways of doing things as specified by an organization or group of people. Like I said earlier, I said ethics has to do with a kind of set rules that a particular organization or a community or a professional body has set for its members to be able to measure whether such member has behaved well or not, or to be able to guide the members so that the organization or the community will be well organized so that it will not be unguided, because without rules, everybody will just be behaving the way they want. But when there are set rules or a kind of accepted norms, everybody will know what he or she is expected to do that will be considered as right, or what we will do and it will be considered as being wrong. Now, having known the definition of ethics, what is then teacher professional ethics? Teacher professional ethics, on the other hand, had a set of rules, values, and regulations provided to guide the conduct of members of people in the teaching professions. That is, as teachers, these are things, or these are set of the rules, the moral rules or the professional rules that has been laid down for people who are in the teaching profession to follow, for them to be considered as professional or teachers or a professional teacher. Now, let's now look at the code of ethics of teaching profession in Nigeria. The code of ethics of teaching professions in Nigeria are broken down into 5, broken down in a way that it spells out the responsibilities of teachers to the students, the parents, the community, the employers, and the professions. So the code of ethics has to, or the ethics of teaching, the teaching ethics stated what are the teachers' obligations to the parents, to the students, to the teacher, to the community, and to the profession, who shall be taking these obligations or these commitments one by one. Let us start by the commitment of the teacher to the students. Teachers are expected, 1, to treat all pupils with respect, regardless of their background. That is, as a teacher, a professional teacher is expected to teach all students in his school or in his classroom with respect, not segregating one or the other student. That is, you have to respect all students, not minding their religion, their emotional, whatever situation, their mental situation, or their physical, or where they come from. All students must be treated with respect. 2, teachers are also expected to recognize the individual differences among pupils. Teachers, as professional teachers, we need to know that students are heterogeneous in various ways. They come from different homes. They have different mental ability, different emotional ability. They come from different religions. So teachers must recognize these individual differences and deal with students accordingly. 3, teachers must help students to develop an understanding of privileges they can enjoy and enlighten them about their corresponding responsibility to the nation. That it is the duty of the teacher to, open the eyes of the students to the different opportunities they can enjoy as a citizen of a country, as a member of a particular community. And also, the teacher also has the responsibility of making the learners responsible of their own obligation to the community, to their parents, and even to the nation. That is, the teacher should teach the students what they need to do to make them to be responsible children. 4, teachers should keep confidential information about a student, and on no occasion should any teacher, unfold any information he or she has about the student's home, the students, or maybe academic, whatever, except it is being required by authorized agencies or by the law. As a teacher, a teacher is not permitted to just unfold information about his or her students to unauthorized people. Then 5, avoid making damaging or defamatory comments upon a student. As a professional teacher, a teacher is not allowed to just talk anyhow to the student or downgrade the student with his or her mouth, or talk in a way that would disrespect the person of the student. Then 6, not engaging in any indecent relationship with the students. As a teacher is supposed to be like a parent to the students. So the teachers are not expected to have any illicit or illegal or indecent relationship with the students. As teachers, we are supposed to be role models. So whatever we need to do, we need to be guided by this particular role that we have to, perform as professional teachers. Then also share the responsibility of improving educational opportunity for all. Teachers are supposed to be preservers of knowledge. They are supposed to be people that should keep people informed about the right and wrong things in the society. They are supposed to be people that will be engaged in changing people's behavior positively. So teachers have that responsibility of improving the educational opportunity for all. Respect the basic desire of parents in Nigeria for educating their children. Parents definitely have reasons for sending their children to school. And these particular reasons, the basic desire reasons, must be respected. The basic reasons for sending students to school, majorly, is to have positive change in behavior, and this must be respected. Seek to establish friendly and cooperative relationship with all of the students. As teachers, teacher has the obligation of cooperating or working with the parents to make the children better. Working with the parents to mold the children in a way that we develop the community and develop the children. So having talked about the obligation of the teacher to the students and to the parents. Now let's talk about the obligation or the commitment of the teacher. Let's continue about the obligation of the community of the teacher to the parent. Provide parents with information that will serve the interests of their children. That is, teacher must always give information that will help the students develop, like I said. Then lastly, teacher must keep parents informed about the progress of the children. That is how the students are performing in the school. It is the duty of the teacher to let the parents know the progress of their children in the school. And I said also, after talk about the teachers' obligation to the students and to the parents, we want to talk about the commitment or the obligation of the teacher now to the community. One, stick to reasonable and responsible pattern of behavior expected by community from a professional person. As a professional person, you are expected to behave in a manner that will give respect to that particular profession. A professional person should not behave just anyhow. So a teacher should comport himself in a way that will build respect to himself and respect to the profession. Avoid exploiting the institutional privileges of the teaching profession in Nigeria to promote the personal gain. As teacher, you should not, exploit the community where you find yourself. You should not use the position of your position as a teacher, to exploit the parent or exploit the community. Participate in political and citizenship responsibility. As a teacher, you need to be responsible to engage or to involve in the development of the community and development of the country by providing your rights as citizens. Also, you must recognize that the school belongs to the community. The school belongs to the community. Without the community, there will be no school, and without the school, the teachers cannot be there. So we must recognize that school belongs to the community, and so as a teacher, we must try as much as possible to at least to do anything that will lead to the development of the community and the development of the school. Respect the community in which you are employed, and be loyal to the school system, the community, and the state and the nation. That is, the person must respect the community. Whatever that serves as a kind of set rules that the community has set for people to follow, a teacher must not go against it. A teacher must not go against it, because you cannot work, successfully as a teacher without having a good relationship with the community where you find yourself. Also, a teacher must work to raise the educational standard and to strengthen the community's moral, spiritual, and intellectual life. Like we said earlier, teachers are role models. So in the community, even where we find ourselves as teachers, teachers must serve as role models. They must serve as good examples. They must be people that can be emulated. They must be people that can be respected or by the way they behave. Now, we have talked about the commitments or the obligation to the community. Now, let's look at what are the obligations or the commitment of the teacher to the employers. As teachers, you must conduct yourself as professional your professional duties through proper channel. Accept no remuneration for teaching, except in accordance with the approved policy. As teachers, a teacher must carry himself or conduct himself as professionals and must not look for any illegal gain outside the normal, remuneration that he or she is due for by providing or discharging his or her duty. Two, you have to refrain from discussing confidential and official information of the workplace with an unauthorized person. Three, apply for a specific position only when it is known to be vacant. That is to say, when a position is not vacant, a teacher is not supposed to be, longing or struggling for a position that is not vacant. This is because if you do that, you'll be having a kind of collusion or, misunderstanding with people that are already occupying the space, which are professionals like you. Then also, a teacher should adhere to the condition of contract or times of appointment. Before a teacher is given an appointment, at least there are some laid down rules or regulation. There are some conditions of service and all that. As a professional teacher, one must not, go against this kind of condition of service or condition of appointment. Give sufficient notice of any change of status or position or service. That is, if one want to change a position, or you want to leave a particular job, there must be enough notice as specified, in the condition or times of appointment. If it is 1 year of 1 week or 1 month of notice, then it must be given. If it is 3 months, as the case may be, a teacher should do that. You cannot just, disengage yourself as a professional and just live like that. A proper notice must be given. Then you should refuse as teachers to take appointments from which the teacher body or the leaders of the unions have said they are not good to take, or you refuse to take an appointment from which, in the opinion of the NUT executive, a member of the union should not take. That is, when the members of the union have said that teachers should not take, this kind of appointment, then a professional teacher should, desist from taking such appointment. Engage in no gainful employment outside the contracts or the work you are doing. If you want to do that, especially when the work you want to take we affect the primary teaching or your primary assignment, then a teacher should not take such. A work that will affect the discharge of your duty as a professional teacher should not be taken. The primary assignment should be taken first and should be done with all diligence. If you now have any time outside the school hour or outside the official duty, fine. But anything that will affect the employment that you have taken as a teacher, then one should not take it. Not seek promotion or obtain position of another by unfair method. This is to say that you should not that you do unto others as you want them to do to you. As teachers, you must not be so ambitious, to want to get somebody's position at all costs. You must be careful, to behave as professionals and to live as a good leader, because teachers are leaders. You must not, seek any position or obtain position of another by or unjustly. Apply for a position only on the basis of professional and legal qualification. Having done all this, we have talked about the way we should, behave to one another as professionals or behave to the employers. Now, how do we now behave to the profession, the teaching profession? What are the obligations of teachers to the teaching profession? One, what we deal justly with other members in the profession in the same manner as he or she wants them to treat. That is, you behave to others in the profession as you want them to behave to you. Two, stand by other teachers who have acted rightly on his behalf or on his request. That is, you have to, stand by each teacher. You do to them the way you want them to, do to you. Avoid making defamatory statements or comments in the presence of pupils, of other teachers, in the presence of pupils, or in the presence of what? Of parents. That is, you do to others, you just talk anyhow as teachers, you don't destroy others, you don't, talk, without unguided in the presence of others or in the presence of parents or students. Be fair in all remunerations that are given concerning the work of other teachers and his subordinates. That is, if you want to, do anything as regard to other teachers, maybe you want to give them remunerations, you must be fair. If you are a proprietor of the school, you want to employ some other teachers or you employ teachers under you to work, you must be fair in giving them what? Remunerations, or people that are under you, you must be fair in giving them remuneration, not to sit to compel other teachers to perform outside ordinary school hours, any task which is not essentially connected with the school work. That is, any work that is not connected with the school work should not be put on any teachers, especially when it is not their official work to do. Even if they will do such work for a leader, then that should be with a kind of mutual understanding. Also, you should not impose upon another teacher out of the ordinary school hours an excessive and unreasonable amount of work of any kind. This has to do with, treating others the way we want them to treat us. Especially people that are leaders in the teaching profession should consider the subordinate or people under them as fellow teachers, and they should treat them, with regard. Not disregard any lawful instruction of the union. This is clear enough. Not conduct himself in a manner detrimental or injurious to the interest and honor of the profession. That is to say, as a teacher, when you get out to behave, know that whatever misbehavior you do is not on you alone, but it's also on every member of the profession. Oh, so and this one called himself a teacher. So a teacher must conduct himself in a way that he will not put a kind of negative or, something on himself or on the profession entirely. Not solicit for his school pupils already connected with another school. This has to do with people that has, schools. You must not begin to, look for people from other schools to join your own school so that it will be, big or whatever. This is not professional enough. Now, having talked about the teachers' ethics or code of ethics in Nigeria, let's talk about objective of teacher code of conduct. Why are we talking about this code of conduct or this ethics or this rule? What are the objectives? What does this ethics or this code of conduct stand to achieve? 1, reawaken the sense of self-esteem, dignity, honor, selflessness, service, and moral rectitude in the teacher. That is to make teachers to have a kind of honor within themselves. 2, protect the teacher's age-long position of nobility, leadership in social, moral, and intellectual world. That is to make teachers, to have a kind of honor and a kind of to serve as a kind of leader in the society, and even at large. Provide objective yardstick for assessment of teachers' conduct and discharge of professional duty. Like I said earlier, where there is no law, there will be no sin. So this code of conduct provides ways of assessing teachers. Spell out the type of relationship that will exist between the teacher, their colleagues, their learners, and the people in the community. And lastly, to clarify teachers' privileges, and obligation, and their legal basis. That is to let the teacher knows what their rights are and what their rights are and what they need to do and what they need not to do, to know the limit of the way they need to behave, to know the limit of which they need or ways in which they need to do to behave. Now, in this lesson, you have learned about the definition of ethics. That ethics are ways or the accepted norms of doing things as spelled out by an organization or a community or a group of people with common goal, or that are bonded with a kind of common goal. What are their rules? What are the accepted norms that will determine whether they behave well or not? You also learn in this particular lesson that teachers have some obligations to the teachers, to the parents, to the profession, to the students, to the community, and to their employer. In this particular lesson also, you also learned about the objectives of teachers' code of conduct. Why, you know, why is it necessary for teachers to have some ethics to follow? Or why is it necessary for, to set a kind of rules for teachers to follow? All these ones were learned in this particular lesson. Now, for you to know whether you have done well or whether you have really, learned in this particular lesson, it would be good if you can assess yourself with the following questions. 1, enumerate 5 commitments of a teacher to the profession. 2, list 5 objectives of code of conduct. 3, identify 5 professional obligations of a teacher. Then 4, define professional ethics. Define professional ethics. Thanks for listening and God bless you.